But now we are live. Hi everybody, welcome back to I almost said it's a story, but this is an adventure in the TARDIS. With me and Quill.
Hi! By the way, how are you doing tonight? Or this morning, whatever it is, in your time zone.
Tired?
Okay.
A little bit tired because of the weather. Also because I haven't drank my coffee yet.
Is it cold out there? Very windy? What?
No, it's hot.
Okay. Actually, yeah, that could do it too.
No, the problem is it's the weather can't even decide if it wants to be cold or hot. Every day is different.
There's places that are like that.
The winner is literally playing a different song. Saying every day I'm shuffling.
The thought that crossed my mind, I don't even know if it makes sense, but the weather is playing hopscotch?
It might be, yeah.
Sort of like skipping around playing games.
Yeah, it's literally the thing that, now it's hot. Now it's rain. And now, because there was rain, and now it's hot, it's even humid.
You know what? I don't think ponies would ever understand that. At least not the ones from the MLP Gen 4. Because they have not fixed weather, but controlled weather. So it's hardly ever a surprise unless someone's out of the loop when it comes to information.
I mean, they might have controlled weather as well. If some parasite towards them. Like, even the rainbow dash did that. Putting rain colors over someone.
Yeah, you remember what the reaction was when there was plants that grow, weather that moves, and animals that take care of themselves all on their own.
How dare they? That was one good song that I wanted to do, and now I can't find it.
Darn.
Wait. That might be because it's on the... Yeah, okay, I found it. That's why I can't find it, because it's another tab.
Is it... It had a name that you can recognize?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, we are having a timer dance off. So let's see.
I went ahead and gave you a slight spoiler last time that the remainder of this chapter is going to focus on Daring Do. And something else.
Also, remember what did you see what I sent you?
Maybe not.
Yesterday? After the reading?
I'm gonna just check and tell you that right now. But first I gotta find you. There we go. Oh yeah, about I know Margaret. Yeah, I got that.
She stopped. Okay, so she didn't say anything to Mercy, but she went off to the other dimension and had Mother Blood.
Right.
It does matter.
Poor Margaret, but I guess she just didn't really know what Trigon was like. When I read that comment in the chat, then I later watched your episode. I was wondering when it would show up, and it turns out it's at the very end of the chapter.
Yeah. And I think we will not see her anymore.
Probably not.
So she is guided into Poland and became a Magi.
That's a good way to look at it, yeah.
But yeah, let's continue where we left off.
Go for it.
It is dying of God to be surrounded by dancing and singing ponies that are gone in the next moment. She felt so lost in her own trial that she can't even He can't even exactly be sure when it happened. All she knows when she finally came down from some kind of high, everybody is gone. You find out that everything that happened up until now was just her imagination. She never time traveled, she never went to adventures. She was just always high when she was writing her own stories. And imagined everything. And
It's
I
funny.
believe there are some writers and especially songwriters out there who did that.
I could tell you that DWK was like that. You didn't see many of his episodes, but they're super funny. But he had to be on drugs in order to accomplish something up to that tier of quality. And I also heard that's also why he quit. That the drugs he was taking actually was hindering him. It caused serious problems.
I mean, they usually do.
Particularly later on when he was improving his craft by being very detailed with his episodes and doing a lot of work because of that. It no longer was fun for him. It was an obsession, and he does say has what's that? I forgot what that attitude is called, where you obsessive over something. You just gotta get all the details right. I guess obsessive compulsive, something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. But everybody is gone. The village is still there, that includes a giant campfire, the drums they played, and the decorated ceremonial spheres, and they spun over their head, and the creature jammed into the fire. Wait, I see. So there was literally no way of meeting Quetzalcoatl without the drugs. Because he is not in the mortal realm at the moment.
Well, he kind of was last time she met him.
But that was last time, but this time...
It was. This is. In fact, it was almost the opposite of that. He was especially physical, so much so he couldn't move. Not physically, anyway.
Yeah. But every physical object was there. But nothing living remained anymore. You killed them all. They take a deep breath, and then it did. It washes its face in her surroundings further, and this is another detail that I off. The sky, for instance, can't seem to make up its mind about whether it's day or night. Literally, just like I said, my weather, it can't make up its mind if it's hot or cold.
Yeah.
I have one image immediately. And you might actually know what I'm gonna pull up.
Would you like to highlight the sentence you left off on? Just as a reference? Probably the last sentence of the paragraph, I think.
Yeah. After this one.
Okay, go for it. That's kind of nice music. I haven't played much of Ys, but I am at least a little familiar with it.
Can I find what I want?
Can you find it, ladies and gentlemen? Place your bets in the comments below.
I know they didn't make a photo of it. Why not? Yeah. I can bring him up. There you go. There's a reason why there is sun and moon at the same time.
Well, you may find other pictures, like in season 4, when the princesses got kidnapped. The sun and the moon was up in the sky at the same time.
Yeah, that's one because of Twilight.
But when it comes to confusion and not making up its mind, yeah, he's a little child with a big stick.
Yeah, the Sea of Truth. There's nice blue above. It is mixed with hues of dark pink, in some areas of the sky. Between them is a hazy line, like another mirage. Thinking further in, realizing that everything around her local environment is hazy like a mirage. There seems to be fluidity to the air, too. As she is under the water, yet she's not drowning, and she doesn't feel the pressure of being underwater. Moving through the mouth and the test, she finds she can win them as fast as she normally would to the physical air, were it not for some kind of windy sensation around her that makes her a bit dizzy. Yeah, that would be why this is a thing, if you think about that. If you are not telling the same thing that you actually expect.
Yeah. If that stayed consistent, you might eventually get accustomed to it, but at first, yes, it would be disorienting.
Okay, so literally there is only one living being that is not being deleted from her perspective. And I don't mean quadrilateral, I mean trouble. This whole area is full of chaos. It's not only that it occurs to her that she might be in the third. This might even be out of body experience. She had enough of those in pure adventure in her past to realize this experience is similar enough to those that it may serve as a plausible explanation. The point of the ceremony is to encourage this anime. But she already has her question mark, so why is she really here? I mean, don't you remember, even the quadrilateral pulled you in for a talk.
And I kind of think, I remember something about the last part of his conversation is to look at a cutie mark as a symbol of a beginning of a journey.
Yeah? But this is before he got her cutie mark. In timeline. So you do have your cutie mark, but actually no. You don't.
Don't know what you mean. She had her cutie mark when she went to the Lost Continent.
Yeah, but this is before that, right? This is way before that.
This is way after. This is when she's been an adventurer for years and then traveled back into the past with the help of the doctor to visit this village. And
yeah, I mean, but this is still the past.
Ah, that. Yeah, for the world, it's way, oh, yes. Compared to her.
Yeah, that's why I said that in the world, it is way before she got the cutie mark.
I see what you mean now. But the rest of the tribe might have their cutie marks too. In fact, they may have a more evolved version of it.
I mean, we will see if it evolves or devolves. Because I can literally bring up her list. It's fine. I can just bring him up. I wanted to bring up the picture.
Ichigo Kurosaki. Yeah, I recognize him. His sword is almost taller than him.
Yeah, bigger is not always better. And they say.
I haven't watched the show up to this point, but eventually he does get two swords.
Yeah. And his evolved, first evolved form is literally, making his sword much smaller.
The two swords had something to do with his dual history.
Yeah?
His heritage. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, that is only reason why I brought him up, because them having bigger cutie mark doesn't mean it's better. Later on, it might just compress down into simple image.
Or in their case, it might mean you realize even more about yourself than a typical pony would.
Yeah?
In the modern age.
Because you don't look at yourself into that one Cutie Mark talent. That's what police do right now. Ah,
It's
I
quite
must be so I have to do that.
it's quite possible that she will soon meet, relative to this world's timeline, the one that taught them how to awaken cutie marks to begin with.
I mean, that is why she's here. To talk to Gracie
Yeah.
also.
Oh yeah. That's at least her intent.
Yeah? Actually, she notices that the environment is brighter in a certain direction behind this tent. This draws her attention and makes her curious. Before venturing into the direction, he gives her one final scan about her local area to check if anything else seems to grab her attention. I imagine her moving to the tent and literally pushing every pony around, but not noticing.
Maybe she's not perceiving it.
Yeah?
Hmm.
I mean, that might actually mean the wobbling that she feels. But
If however she's having a true out of body experience, she might be just on the ground unconscious to everyone else's perception, but her spirit's wandering free. Like, it's probably one of those two.
can I find one? So yeah, for everyone else, they do it just like this.
Huh.
All they see is just lying the light on the ground. Wobbling mouth, everything.
I've seen a picture just like it before, except it was Celestia. Exactly in that pose. And it was not in the show. It was actually in fan content. Very darn good fan content.
Ah.
One of which was the inspiration behind Skydancer in the first place.
And he is still here. I mean, now we can name him. He's not Skydancer, he's Time Dancer. I mean, he is dancing at the moment. Unless
Well,
he's having an auto body experience as well.
Featherwind is a feather being blown on the wind. This is just where the wind happens to be blowing right now.
Yeah, just not blow into the campfire.
Yeah, that'd probably be bad.
Not doing anything else, especially not funny, to look back in the direction of the tent. Crouching down, by spreading her wings up in an upward V pattern, off her back. Then leaps up, by spreading her wings down.
Hold on. I'd like to just mention that I don't do this often, but it's kind of interesting when I use the shape of the letters to describe something.
Yeah, especially since police don't know letters, from what we know.
Yeah, they would probably not be able to read this. But for the English language, the shape of that letter does help describe something.
Yeah,
In this case.
I mean the V pattern is very much used in a lot of media, especially with birds as well.
Makes sense, yeah.
It causes her to shoot upward, then flap her way above, like level 10. Yeah, very good idea. Flying above everyone while literally being on toes. Good job.
Well, she probably will bump into less people that way, or fires.
Yeah. Beyond that, she really spots a shift in the environment, which she certain wasn't there before. This area of the village used to be pretty dry, with a few sparse seeds, but now the area behind the tent it shifts into a grassy area that is so sudden. Each air descent has drawn an imaginary line across the plane. Further ahead, in a medium-sized pond, the waterfall filling into it. I was about to say that if there's a waterfall as well, because that's so much use if you are going into an imaginary area.
Okay. I almost wished you did call it before.
I started hearing of a rainbow in the midst of the waterfall. This area is bright and daylight. I mean, having a rainbow near a waterfall is not surprising. Because we know how a rainbow forms.
Hmm?
Then making the sunlight into raindrops. Or mist, in that case. The waterfall stands up. It's a small rocky cliff, about 20 feet high. Ghostly lying no land at the edge of the pond, they gives up to view her from down in the water. Just as her is dangerous, or at least unusual to stare at one's own reflection in the dreamlike or spiritual-based environment. Those are shrubs, don't work like normal physical reality. When they show, that's to reflect what is more inward than other than outward in that, and that can be starting to be to the uninitiated. I mean, what you are initiating, that's what the last thing is about. That is the initiation. I know that's what you mean.
And, in the tribe's estimation, she's ready for this.
Yeah, you have to be ready. What you see in the mirror, that's what you have to yearn for. Sinai knew was aware of that, though. It is probably why she is more prepared to see the reflected image of her own pretty self, rather than the other's mirror. She knows she became. Remember, I said she doesn't have her kitty mark yet.
Also, you actually have her Philly self in the side there.
Yeah? I mean, even here, it's like the pretty self.
Yep.
But now that she looked down into the pond, as she saw the image, her body might actually change into her pretty self in this dreamlike thing.
Probably. Or at least that can happen.
She marveled at the reflection for a moment, before looking back at her own home, and confirming the fact that her body is still that of another man. Denied. But the image in the empty motor is it. She is still a fairy. Her fairy self is even wearing the same temporal time of the tooth, except it's smaller to match the smaller proportion size. I mean, it even would be smaller because the fairy version of her did less things. At that, they lose absolute hope into the water. It couldn't turn out that this image could go much further, apparently beyond the point of recognition. Because it's too much and the water's gone back down. Eventually she noticed in the image has changed to reflect her another self. Yet, she sees a tiny spark of youth twinkle in her eyes. It reminds her how she used to be. Curious of what is out there to explore the world, and eager to find out. And now she looks at herself, and now she is the young self. I mean, it's a lot of media when you have an out-of-body experience when you are changing into someone else. You don't usually find out until you look into the mirror. There's the meme that, how do you not recognize that you are not yourself?
There was a concept like this in the Neverending Story too. I don't suppose you've seen that, have you?
I have seen never-ending story, but it was a long time ago.
Then what I say now might be barely familiar, but there was apparently a challenge within the story, somewhere towards the middle, that Atreyu did not get warned about because he rushed off to face the first challenge. The second was to face the Magic Mirror Gate, which Egivolt, some gnomish creature, was telling the dragon that what the challenge is, you will face your true self, and that could be very, very scary to some people. Some people might run away screaming.
Yeah. I'm just a small boy. The sound of flapping somewhere ahead of her not attention in the direction. There she goes, when she sees a normal body that hangs down from the sky and perched on the tip of the crystal. Then just jumps out of the water near the center of the pond, but also further back toward the waterfall. She goes in and pulls out the thread of the water of the middle of the pond. Yes, she becomes King Arthur. Burning white crystal, he must have regarded as somewhat unusual in the native land of Equestria. But here, they seem powerful of course. They knew had encountered a sort of pretty since twice before. Was in the 1910, then later in the market after they were captured. They, in turn, didn't see her at first, because she spied them from the distance to take her by the current. It took her back away then too. So I guess they knew they didn't match Phoebe. Was it her?
Phoebe?
Was it her name? The feeling that Fluttershy was taking care of.
The filly that. Okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Just hardly. Oh man.
This one.
Yeah.
No, Philomena.
Philomena. Okay.
Yeah, I shot at it to Phoebe. But no, I knew that I hadn't met her, that one.
You were done with that paragraph.
Yeah. The second time she encountered them, however, she rescued them from her captivity. They definitely noticed her then. The father of the floor was known to her as a grandfather in gratitude for saving his family. It has since become one of her most secret treasures, until it was later stolen by a supposedly jealous rival, who had the courage for her head. Rival author, that is not adventurer. Are you sure about that? Well, it's Mrs. Miller's fellow.
Yeah, both of her professions can have rivals.
Oh, they don't have it. Yeah.
Are you talking about Caballard and his costume for
Ah,
his
there it is.
novel?
Yeah. It was not Cameron. It was this guy. It was a rival author, not an adventurer, right? It used to be one of her favorite quills. Quills to pen down of her adventures on top of that point. Funny enough, though, the scales of that author's work changed after that. Maybe know that her success had something to do with fighting with with the Quill. He came from a noble, majestic, and magical feeling. Even if he is right, the thing about magic is that sometimes it's just a selective of its user, and the user is the magic. I mean, not the user, the target. Some motivation would have warned him about that, but in this case, he didn't listen. It often makes one short-sighted. Because I knew that I encountered a finishing in the past, no. It is also why he soon realized that this bond is far more unusual than they normally are. Encountering even one of these awe-inspiring creatures is a powerful omen. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Depending on the context, but it often means something is going to die. Something is going to die? Or be lost soon, as something else within its fate. They are also common omens for fertility. Oh no, that I know is gonna have a baby.
That would be a new beginning, for sure.
Especially because she doesn't really have a boyfriend.
Yeah, that would be quite a shock then.
But due to their previous experience with this species, as rare as that has been, they still enough to tell her that this particular bird is far more unusual than he appears to me, as he already appeared unusual even casually glad. Deeper inspection revealed, however, that this bird is far higher in evolution than typical phoenix is. He has the same size, shape, and color as an average phoenix, but something in his eyes and the others around him suggests he's way more ancient and wise than these birds normally are. And they normally are way above an average bird already. Daring, remember what Quatercoder said, but the settler that he can appear in any form, any shape or form.
Right.
Especially in this out-of-body experience. Because randomness, yay! My sister's coming. Oh,
What's Mika mean?
What?
What's Mika mean?
Mika?
I thought that's what you said to the other person.
I did not say that. I don't know what I said, but
Alright.
although sure with the evolution takes in, it actually not on Zhang, and this powerful aura around this creature is also familiar. Yet I encountered it wasn't before. It takes her a moment to think back to where she came across this. When she realizes the answer, her eyes widened as she guessed. She gets several years back, but it occurs to her that this noble and powerful man is none other than the very one told the gay sage by the settler, who is currently disguised as a Phoenix for some reason. Remember, it was quite obvious that it's him.
He picked up on that.
You! The guy out in astonishment. Yes, me. Respond the man made a nod, and the depth of this wisdom of the ages sparkled in his prismatic, reflecting eyes. You came to me? But I was going to see you out. I mean, no, you came here. Then, remember you even flew. They accept. Almost completely normal about the short, but otherwise said, or done nothing else. Immediately came to mind.
That's actually where I thought you went.
And it's fine. For the finish.
Sure.
Hopefully they don't speed up. Yeah, it's fine. The river finish isn't known for talking either, but this is Oldmare. He knows that he is highly talented, and it's like how she's really encountering him right now. In only half surprised that I get him. You know who I am? But not again, it'll be. That makes the compassion as well, right back at her. It would be funny if it's not about to begin with, just a pet of mess. The little mess comes out in his real form, and then says, "Ah, you met my pet."
Philomena.
It would be even funnier if it is Philomena. Right, because the pet is dead in no time, doesn't it? You keep saying it to her. I remember you said that to me before. Past, present, future. No one matters from your perspective. I ran out of L when I got to the S.
Yeah, I had a feeling you could do it if you don't rush to that word.
It's all the same to you. Just keep saying it to her. He almost asked him why he not saying anything to her this time. Or the equivalent of saying, "You must have been telepathy." He was literally chatting before. No, that was after Luke gets it right. You are in the past right now. He might not be able to use telepathy at this moment, at this timeline. On this time, he seems content to merely be in her presence. Before she ends though, she started to realize she forgot why she told him out. She takes a moment to ponder over this carefully. What her mom eventually reported to her is that initially, she didn't seek him out. Instead of that, she may get excited when she learned he was also around this time period. But I did not frozen his soul this time. This means he had this one chance to meet him in the flesh. Without a soul present in the way. I mean, for all we know, he might not have been a consequence all the time. This might be his real body. But then, one might question, how did he become that? Because Vinny not really die. At that moment, all other priorities in her life
Well,
are interrupted.
A phoenix might not be immune to stoning.
Yeah, if they took many drugs, they would be stoned. Just like, I mean, yeah, in this timeline, Dainu is stoned as well. From other drugs.
Oh yeah, but it's kind of like, well, they're doing this in a ritualistic way, similar to ayahuasca.
Yeah. It's an opportunity she never thought she would have again. I think she's not really great. Now she thinks of it, no. It occurs to her that all questions she thought he had alluded to her. There are plenty of questions she had over the years. And she doesn't really have to say them out loud because Max can answer them before she asks them. But the moment she has wished he was there, so she could ask him a question back then. But time and time again, he pulled through on her own. She swore off the company of others, and vowed to pick up her skills on her own. Independence can be very empowering, but it gets lonely eventually. And it's better for her that she was alone and not getting all the answers from Matt. She learned from them.
She learned to grow on her own. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would be in a world situation again. That this almighty being can do everything that I have to do. So why even think? why remove more muscle? Maybe this is it. Maybe it really is that simple. I should look back at him and know on her that maybe she simply missed his company. Maybe she wanted a reminder that he would be there for her in some shape or form. As she thinks on this further, she realizes that she changed a lot since her last encounter with him. No. I mean, yeah, she changed a lot. Back then, he presented himself as a saintly hypocrite in her mind. Now, he looks at a normal Phoenix. Only now there is a girl to her, versus her mind. The creating medicine law is a consequence. It is highly powerful, magical, and terrible being. You don't need to say hi or other brothers in the flesh. Sometimes that might be a right idea, too, and I can hear my arriving. Because he could overwhelm them, and not everyone has the best of intention either. He has the advantage of seeing the inner self of others before he approaches them, and because of that, he can customize the form he presents, possibly offering the one he's encountering. And now,
Which is what you said a moment ago.
yeah, I know he came at her in the form of Phoenix. Why? Because he knows that you lost your father. That was a choice on his part. He could have chosen any other form, even if she encountered him in the flesh. The question also is said to be a powerful shapeshifter, and one who can bend reality itself. But he came at her as a Phoenix this time. There must be an important message in there, a message for her alone. Nobody else is here, so the further signifies that this encounter is a custom designed for her alone. This encounter is what we will say that he's not talking to everyone else at the same time. Because he did that last time as well. He was talking multiple
Yeah, you remember that. He was having a conversation with Tannen and the doctor and her all at the same time. And possibly also that Naga lady that's the guardian of the statue.
And I can see him talking to Dorothy at the moment.
Maybe, yeah. And if he is, then they probably have a very different conversation.
So, why a Phoenix? Good question. We are almost at the end. Let me say hi to my sister and I will come back and finish the story.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome back.
So why a Phoenix? Then rather that point, get very carefully. I mean, if I had the ability to change shape, just like Memo does, I wouldn't be in the same shape all the time either.
Right. But in this case, he also has the ability to gaze in the spirit of others that he views, because he's very highly telepathic, right? So whatever shape he takes, it's in service to the person he's approached.
Yeah? He will close her eyes and take her in the compass, just as he told her to do in the last encounter with him. The compass in turn pointed to the symbolic meaning of a Phoenix, and further said, that's what he sees in you. That you are like that magnetic bird, is manifesting who you are. No, I looked in the pond and I am just a little Phoenix. The one that don't occur to her. Everything else suddenly takes into place. Reina took her to explain another made on the simple tools. All the simple tools were first pointed out. The last time she encountered this being, she was very young, and on her very first adventure. An adventure that turned out to be key hallmarks of her destiny. Since then, however, she has grown and changed a lot. She went through a lot of inner death and emerged. And the finish. I mean, the first death was literally at the end of that adventure.
Yeah,
But
the death of naivete. And along with that came some innocence too. That's why she grew a lot more serious after that.
Yeah, the death of Canon and naivety and the birth of Naringo and courage.
Right.
It wasn't just from that one adventure. Manuela since then gave her into the man she had become. She wanted to become strong and confident. What happened? That happened, but over time, she slowly lost sight of that. Because there was always higher progress to reach for. More she could become. More to strive for. I mean, that is a good thing.
And here she is realizing that. That's actually very powerful.
Yeah. I've heard many people who literally find that end in their past that I can't get better because of my ability of not becoming better.
Yeah, I peaked back then, so that's it. That's all
Yeah.
the meaning to my life. There's no point in continuing anymore. Except to, reflect on the good old days.
But then, this is why you would realize that, oh, if I find an end in this labyrinth of life, I can just go back to the lost, how do you say it, where you can go left and right.
I forgot where I recently heard this comment, but I don't know wonder if you can agree with it or at least sympathize with it. I wish I knew I was in the good old days when I'm still in it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And yeah, I was searching for the crossroads. But you can just go back to the last crossroad and go on the other way as well. And yeah, you picked on that road. Then start learning something else. If you know that's the end of that.
I don't know if you read that paragraph above. I don't think you did.
Maybe I didn't. Only now at this moment, she looked back upon her history and realized how far she had come. She had her gaze forward, so often that she sometimes lost track of how far she had already come. I probably didn't read it in my mind. If I took all the details for the doctor to criticize her, I realized that she had the potential to be an awesome leader. Why do I want to say end? There's no end there. After everything she had been through. But that potential was untapped at the time. He saw that she was ready to go in a way he didn't consciously realize yet. That's probably when he made his decision. The doctor was her guide too. Now, it almost made these two and been working together all along. I mean, remember the doctor was actually talking to him as well. The doctor knows Matt, right?
It's not to say for certain, but since both characters are kind of beyond linear time, if they ever known each other, it's like it's always been.
I mean, for all we know, Matt could be the doctor.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot like that, especially in this form when he's able to die and rebirth as a phoenix. That's kind of like what a Time Lord does too.
And we know that the changing form is not out of the question for the Doctor either, because he is now falling.
Oh yeah.
Maybe later on he gets the ability to change from the whim.
No, yeah, that might be what a higher evolution and realization for him.
Yeah. I mean, just like the Saiyan, so the Super Saiyan was the highest evolution that they could reach. Also, the God and Metal seems closely aligned. I mean, he has even proven in the story that, yeah, that number that we have told that is the limit how many times we can die and rebirth, and is not the maximum. Look at go, before she even knew what she was capable of, and who she fully was, the Dr. kept coaching her, guiding her on the journey, yet not giving word of encouragement, and offering a hope if she fell. Once that was done, he would basically say something along the lines of, "You run this, you can do it." Then he closed her eyes, and tears started to flood them. She moved so much to realize that she had that kind of caring support a long time ago. Again, for counted long before that as well. Each stallion, otherwise, kept smiling at her, giving words of encouragement, then pointing the way onward. And from the outside perspective, if there was somebody there, they would see Nainu coming here, flying here, seeing the finish, calling, "Is that you?" and they start crying. That is all they would see.
I remember when something like that happened to Twilight, where she drank some kind of white potion that Sakura offered her. Discord outright recorded it.
It is all too easy to get it for all the reasons of Italian, and the man eventually becomes so strong. She has plenty of life before herself by now. Indeed, for society at times, she was their words of encouragement, their mentor, their guide, their compass, which is not written here. The reason for all growth and have empowerment.
Good call, though. Probably should have thought of that back then.
That's one of the core reasons why she became a author. She liked to write, she liked to share her lessons, and she liked to inspire. She liked to play her bears too, yeah. I mean, no, she doesn't like to play her bears, but she has to play her bears. But it almost feels similar compared to everything else. Also, what bears? She lives in a... Yeah! She doesn't really have bears. She doesn't have a piping system, she doesn't have electricity. What bears is she playing? I know you are meaning the adventures, but...
Yeah, that's something for you to think about.
She shouldn't really have bears to pay in the little shack. Unless she has another house that we don't know about. The photo actually came in handy during the, I mean, what? And what is that?
It's well, it's outside of quotes.
Yeah, I know.
It's basically just narration.
During her adventures, and even her name and AKA occurred upon important notes for her. When the compass had always said, "There is always a way to this challenge. If you trust in me, then I will show you the way." Do you know the way? If you don't, then I will show you the way.
You can flash your opening splash page again. Do you know the way?
So, Nine knows the compass is It's bamboo. I mean, if it's an indoor body, then it can be anything. And then the quality control. Here I do catch her eyes up in a bit. Original old man is blurry, but he is still there. Yeah, it would be funny if he flew away.
He does that.
It is not that he goes to her that Phoenix can't talk. Phoenix can't talk. So that also means to symbolize that he never intended to do so in this encounter. I have counter argument for that.
Highlight what you left off. Just make sure. Okay. Go for it. What's your counter argument?
Phoenix can talk. We have established that Othmere is telepathic.
Oh yeah?
And not a Phoenix. He is in a Phoenix form, but in a quantum control. So Phoenix can talk is not true. I mean, Phoenix can talk, but this is not a Phoenix. It's a quantum control in the shape of Phoenix. He goes alone. There's a lot I got with him. Goes enough that words of wisdom and encouragement are no longer necessary. Instead of that, he set us for teaching her to action instead. By the very presence, he signifies, I am here for you, and I am very proud of the progress you made. So much so that it doesn't even need to be said. No, let me translate it. There you go. That's all she said. I think always hiding from their shit, but they knew they bring God's light to all who behold them. The heart of the wicked, the light is scary and blinding. To the out of that same light offers comfort and hope. They look up to her and think something along the lines of, wow, she really is a hero. I guess they really do exist. It reminds me of when Harry Potter seen the Phoenix the first time. I just have to know your birth, it just goes fire and then it died. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Celestra's probably laughing too.
Yeah, and in the way she kept living her life, no matter what keeps her down, she almost finds a way to become more determined and peace than ever. She really is a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
She gets up with a cunning glint in her eye and the lying grin in her lips. Those who cross her hat, and then be back, for daring new is unstoppable. It is true because that is what she decided to be. Especially when her hair turned yellow or blonde. Thank you, they expressed to her old friend very gratefully. I believe I finally understand now. I had no reason to see you out. Suddenly, the wise and noble man nods once again, before crouching down and leaps up into the air. Okay, yeah, good talk, buddy, good talk. The fire follows up to him, doing his warm flap downward. It throws him 50 feet into the air. From there, he just finds himself in the underneath flap. Instead of that, he's passing wings. A glorious light shines out from him. That she had also seen once before, except this time it doesn't hurt her eyes to see. Wish I had that picture.
I remember when the Phoenixes did that to Garble and the other dragons.
Yes.
Yeah, that. They did wince and look away, which indicated the kind of light they're projecting.
It looks like in this scene that if he literally just, I'm gonna fly in front of the sun so they can't help me.
Solar flare!
It's at this time she sees and feels something far more. Something wonderful. Something glorious beyond all the mortal measure. The light shines so brightly that at first she does not realize that she has shifted his form. But it slowly fades, and she finally sees a silhouette with long side-by-side form. Ah, so it wasn't this, what she sees. It is, it is this what she saw. The transformation sequence. Surrounding that is a corona of rainbow light. Like yours, she fades into that light. The image of feelings and feelings that it evokes fades into their soul forever. So is he willing to talk now? Or does he disappear?
This encounter revealed that he didn't have to. That all he would have said is lessons she already learned. And he put emphasis on that so that she realized that herself. To reflect on how much she's grown. I remember one of the comments my mother made when she read this chapter, that she thought it was nice that that Daring Do, who has gone through a lot of growth, even in this story, finally receives an Attagirl.
Just making sure that I have the title for the next one.
Yeah. Pretty simple. So what'd you think of that chapter?
Yeah. So literally what we learned that Daring Do didn't even need to do this at all.
She didn't know that until she met that encounter, though. So it's something off the bucket list.
So, what was the point? Why she wanted to meet Matt? There was literally no point because she didn't ask any questions.
She didn't seek him out until she realized that he was here.
Yeah.
She didn't come to this timeline thinking, I'm going to meet Osmer. It's just an opportunity that happened to come up when Mahira mentioned it. And all of a sudden she had some obsession. Because in the back of her mind she was thinking, I had questions for him that I wanted to ask him for years. That I've accumulated across all that time. But when she finally met that encounter, all those questions just fled her mind. Forgotten. Like, which is the most important one to concentrate on right now? And nothing came up. She kind of like had a brain fart.
Oh my god, that actually happens when you meet someone you haven't seen in a long time. We were talking about this and this and this, and in the end you are just staring at each other and nobody said anything.
Then you can sympathize. That's what it was like for her. As far as Osmir is concerned, from his perspective, he revealed all that he needed to. In the way that it was best for her at that time. I will say that other iterations of that chapter had occurred to me before I wrote it. Things like explaining what he was done with the tribe or the Kyran or all kinds of stuff like that. But when I wrote that chapter, I thought it was way better than anything else I had pictured earlier. Just something quiet, something memorable, something meaningful, something spiritually uplifting.
Yeah. And I still believe that Osmer in the meantime was literally talking to each other ponies.
As a matter of fact, he seemed like a better spiritual teacher this time in pure silence than he was last time. At least that's what I thought. He feels a little more authentic this time.
I mean, last time will be later.
Yeah. Back to the future.
But imagine, he knows that he will later on tell everything, so...
Right.
I wonder what he has to say to Nerfy and Penelmin. Because I'm not questioning that. They are literally talking to every other pony who is in threat.
Rather likely, yeah. it's almost like the point of the ceremony. Um, they might be shown something that helps them realize more about themselves, which is what he did before with Daring Do. He helped her to realize her potential. Well, when the rest of the tribe goes through the same thing, they learn more about themselves too, but they represent that with the tattoos that they paint on themselves.
So does that mean that Narilu has a tattoo of Osmir on her? I mean, it
If
is
it is,
part of her integral life.
if it is, it might be a phoenix then.
I can imagine her asking, why are you painting a phoenix on me? I have only met them once.
Twice, actually.
Twice.
Yeah.
And now it makes sense why.
Yeah, that could happen with a tribe like this. They paint something that's perfect, but you don't realize that while they're doing it, and then later on you make that encounter with him and go like, ah, so that's why.
I feel like
'Cause
the
he's
one
not-
who made the tattoos are kind of like empath or psychic or something like that.
He's a teacher outside of linear time, so he would be able to see in those kinds of ways. And to the tribe that regularly communicates with him, they may start to think like him too. Especially those leaders. That's why one of the reasons they were so wise.
Oh, it was almost an hour long. It's a perfect timeline.
Actually, it's pretty short then. I guess there was less than I thought.
I mean, it was shorter because it was half a chapter than the whole one. It's
I
fine
thought that
because
was
my sister arrived. Then
I thought there was a longer part of the chapter, but now I'm wondering, do you think it's about even?
it was around the halfway point, by the way.
Okay.
But yeah, in 4 days we are continuing with the creature.
Sure.
Hopefully that is in trouble, because I want to learn more about her.
Could be. You gonna post the link on Discord too?
Yeah,
So I see the.
not right now, but when I make it, I
Sure.
will post it.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you all for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye!
Thank you for the reading, and bye bye.
Now we know the way.